Welcome to Raising Happy Kids Zoom Show, episode 12. Starting the One Rule Agreements Made Easy. During this 1-hour Zoom show, I focus on sharing tips and lessons on the one rule to raising happy kids. Each episode has at least one example of the one rule in action, demonstrating how it helps you raise a happy child. Then we have Q&A and discussion. When I talk about raising happy kids or creating harmony with kids, I bring up the one rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. Using the one rule means you find agreement, that's the rule. You find a solution that everyone likes. You found agreement. You found harmony. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the one rule. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. I'm glad you're here. First, a brief presentation, then Q&A and discussion. Okay, the thing that I wanted to talk about was it came out of making the new information available on using the one rule with babies and children and 2-year-olds. Actually started with 2-year-olds. And that was that it's up to the adult to find agreement with the child, because a baby or even a 2-year-old, or maybe even especially a 2-year-old, they are so involved in what they are doing, following their developmental blueprint, that they can't yet make that adjustment. Or I don't know whether they can or not, but I've never seen it. So what I did and what I am suggesting is that I found a way to be in harmony with them no matter what was going on, pretty much. And during this last week, because I wrote this up for the new book, Raising Happy Kids, and which also, of course, has the training for the one rule in it. So during this last week, after having done that, it occurred to me that, okay, what I've presented so far on getting started with the one rule, that if it seems like there's going to be conflict, then you start finding, okay, well, what is it that we can agree on if we can't agree on this and this? And so then I brought up what I had done the first time that I that the children, when the children actually taught this to me by demonstrating it, I was able to bridge what I was doing by saying these three things that came into my mind. One is that, well, I was talking about them, but let's say us. Let's say we're working on something. So then I would say we're both important, or if there's more people, we're all important. And then pointing to each person, you're important, I'm important. Then saying that we each deserve to have things that feel good to us. And then the third thing is that we're going to figure out a way for this to happen. And so that's kind of the introduction to the one rule that I've been putting out there. But during this last week, I realized that the same practice that is used with the babies and toddlers, 2-year-olds, can be used with older children too. And that is, and I know that I did this myself, not only, but I did do it. And that is, okay, that my child wants something in particular, whatever it is. It could be a thing or an experience, it doesn't matter. And thinking, is there some way that I could be in harmony with this? Like, is there some minor shift, something that is fine with me because they are like into this thing. This is what they have chosen. Now, so that anyway, this is what I came up with. Like, I was thinking it's kind of like a lazy person's version of the one rule, because well, it's not really lazy because I'm doing all the work, but there will be, it's not like there won't be examples where they can learn this too, because I think it's really a valuable skill for all of us to be able to use. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of times where the other form of starting out the one rule is going to happen. But I just found it interesting that this hadn't occurred to me until I wrote up all the information on the babies and the 2-year-olds, and then it expanded from there, realizing, oh yeah, that's something that can be done actually in any situation, really. But especially if it seems like it might be a good thing for it to happen this way. Anyway, this I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to share today in particular.
What I've discovered in my personal life by focusing on the one rule, what you're defining now, is found that I've kind of already been doing this stuff, but I haven't been labeling it. And
Cool.
I've also discovered, just by interacting with you, Karen, that I'm in a perfect situation here because I have a granddaughter that's going to turn 3 this weekend on Sunday.
Nice.
Now, so I've been using these thoughts, but now I have a defined pattern. What I'm doing is I'm looking for agreement and harmony, and I'm using these words in my head, and I'm finding I'm having success. Now I've already known that I'm the bigger person, and that I'm the person that's doing the work, as you just mentioned. Secondly, I have a daughter who's 29. So now I have a 30-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I'm bringing my daughter up the second time as I say it, but I have a different relationship with her now. I've already brought her up as a child, but now we have an adult relationship, which I found in order to have agreement and harmony with the 30-year-old, I also need to be the bigger person. I need to let go of the things that I don't like. The things that she's doing that I don't like, I could address them, but I need to do it not as a parent bossing a child around. I need to just mention it maybe in passing, saying that that's not really how I would like to see this, or just kind of like stick it out there, but don't hound on it. Don't hang on it. You know, do I want to be happy or do I want to be right? What I find out is I might not be happy right away, but I know in my heart that I'm right and I'm doing the right thing, and that'll come with time. And I've been learning from both, like you say, the 3-year-olds taught you. Well, now I have a little 3-year-old and a 30-year-old that are teaching me to be in harmony with them. Before, I always wanted to be the boss. I'm the parent because I said so. You know, that's why we're doing this. But they don't understand that. And maybe in the past, we were under the idea that they don't deserve the right to know why we're doing things. Because I said so was an appropriate answer. In this new age of raising happy kids, letting them be a part of the solution works. And that's been working for me, and I haven't had bad days. I haven't had frustrating days. I could sleep at night. In fact, when I tuck them in and kiss them goodnight, that's usually when I find you and we talk personably on a chat line or something, either by email or, and then me and you get along just as fine too. And I find myself reading over and over again notes that you send me saying, this is so much fun working with you. And I'm thinking it's working full circle for me. I'm getting along with everyone. I don't have issues. And a lot of it is because not that I'm just being the bigger person, but I'm letting go of the things that I was focusing on. You know, what you think about, you become. If you get hung up on the negative things that you want to fix them so bad, they'll fix on their own. You know,
Yes.
they do. They just fix on their own because you become the stable person that the people that you're working on can rely on you. And if I get out of task, if I get off task, things go haywire. I just lose my daughter. She just wigged out, or my granddaughter doesn't understand me. That's not Papa. That's not my grandpa. That's not what they're expecting.
Nice.
They're not expecting me to act like that. I remember the other day I got angry and I was kind of yelling, and my granddaughter saw it for the first time, and she was doing this. She never, and she wanted to come over and just hug me. She took it that I was sick or not feeling good because I was like angry and had anger and I was saying something, and it wasn't directed towards her. It was towards something else, but she saw me like that and she didn't like it. And I had to comfort her and tell her, almost apologize for being like that in her presence. I felt guilty because that's not me. That's not how I want to see myself. That's not how I want to present myself to the people I associate with as an angry person.
Well, I think her first take on it was very appropriate to like, of course, to feel that energy, but wanting to come over to help you out because obviously something was wrong. So
When I looked across the room and saw her doing this, like, my grandpa, no, that's not you.
right.
And she didn't know how to handle it. She didn't know how to stop me or how to pull. She wanted her old grandpa back. The calm.
She got it.
Yeah, she got
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
She got it. She did.
Cool.
Raising happy kids. I'm a happy kid ever since I've been focusing on the one rule and the way to be. It's a way of life. It's being aware of your actions and being in control.
Yes.
And that stuff just kind of comes out of you and sticks to the people you're talking to. There's been a lot of times, just me and you, Karen, talking at night where we just answer each other's questions. Like, we don't even have to say it, just, and look how much work we got done recently.
I know. It's very
with no
exciting.
stress, no arguing, just sometimes you would put something out there, well, I think this, and I would just not hesitate because I feel free that I can communicate with you and say, well, here's what I think. And then you would say, yeah, I like that,
Yeah,
I'll go with that. And it wasn't that I was putting any negative in there. I was just saying, here's what I think. And you went with it. And next thing you know, you're changing things or I'm changing things. And then we actually have outcome.
I know.
And
Exciting.
and it's been a while since I worked with a partner on anything, mostly by choice. I just kind of became the lonely bull, just working on my own for business stuff. Not with raising children or that kind of thing. For a long time, I was a school teacher and had to be a team player or a member of a band. You have to be a team player, even if you're the leader, which the one rule works there too. Make everybody happy and make everybody feel that they're a part of the band. And it's just not just because maybe it's my name on the lease or my name on the thing. It's usually, if you have Buddy Holly, you have the Crickets, yeah, there's people involved, and you can't let them out.
Right.
Or let them feel that they're out. Everybody needs to be part of the decision making and in agreement. It's kind of like they say, don't go to bed mad. Well, it's kind of like that too. You don't close a meeting where you're not in agreement, I don't think, at least on some of the decisions that you made, or at least when you're going to meet again and discuss certain aspects.
Right. Yeah, at least something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess finally what I'm really trying to say to sum it up is it's working for me. It's keeping my life in harmony, which is a good word. I'm willing to let go of things that I used to hound on. Just let go of it. It's mostly, it's only important to me anyway. No one else is thinking those thoughts. And you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know how electricity works to turn the light switch on.
Right.
You just know if you go turn that switch on, you're going to get light. And that's all a 3-year-old needs to know. And if she knows that she can come give me a hug and I'm just going to liquidate in her arms and not be mad anymore, and she can use that, it works.
Right.
And makes me think this works. Like my family, which right now is my daughter, the 30-year-old, 29-year-old, and my granddaughter, they just ran an errand because they know I'm busy at this time for an hour. And they said, we'll see you, Papa, afterwards, and we can do something together. That
Nice.
it was just, I heard them saying, let's get dressed. We're going to go run an errand and we'll see you in an hour. They just know. They know
Cool.
it doesn't even have to be said. This works. They know it's important for me to be here working with you and Batool right now. And they gave me this time. It wasn't even said. They just put their shoes on and said, bye, Papa, bye, Dad, we'll see you in an hour.
Very
Cool.
nice.
I
Very
know.
nice. I was carefully listening to you, Brian. And what I feel that from inside you are a calm person. It's like you are getting to know yourself now. You Because I believe those people who show too much anger actually are very sensitive from inside. So what they take out is in the form of anger, but controlling anger is a very important part. But on the other hand, anger is also an important part of our emotion. We cannot finish this from ourselves. It is there. But how much to use, that is how we control. Because sometimes there are situations in which you actually need to show the angerness. You cannot be silent at that moment. Because if you show that nothing is wrong and you don't care, you're not angry at it, it means that maybe there's something wrong then.
People can
God has
see it.
given, made this emotion, it is there in us.
Yes,
Of anger, but how much to use and how to use, that is we have to control.
that's control,
Yes, that's,
self-control.
yeah, that's the self control thing. And like yes, the one rule is very beautiful way, and we should learn more vocabulary, more good words, and be ready that when we want to convince someone, it's not too easy. We have to be ready for all the consequences,
That's an
that they might,
educated person.
they might disagree, they might show some negative points, and maybe we might get hurt also, like we might think, but we have to be ready. Like we know these, for example, when you take a medicine, you know the side effects, but you're taking it, you know you have to take it. Similarly, we should know that when we work on one agreement, because sometimes it's very easy that we can just sit and talk and come to an agreement, but sometimes it's not too easy. Reaching an agreement becomes a
Yes.
very difficult task.
When you take a medicine, two things can happen. You could either respond to the medicine, which is good, or you could react, which is a negative thing. If you're responding to the medicine, you're getting better, you're getting healed. That's what the doctor that prescribed it wanted from you. But if you have a reaction and you get a rash or something negative happens, it's not working correctly, and then you need to refocus and regroup and try another plan. And that's what coming to agreement and the one rule is all about, is sacrificing maybe a little bit from your part, because it's not all about you or me. It's about all of us together.
Yes, and sometimes we have to see the situations. Even, for example, if I'm in a stadium, there's loud of music or loud things, and I want to reach to an agreement, that won't be possible because your mind will not be in peace, my mind will not be in peace. We might not be able to convince each other. So there should be a proper place also. There
Hmm?
should be a proper time also to talk, because
Right.
every time is not a good time and every place is not a good place to talk.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
is my personal feeling, and I have observed that sometimes when I see that there's some situation going wrong or a fine, so I just tell that person, come on, let's have some lunch, let's sit somewhere, not in your office because it feels pressure of the office. Let's go out somewhere, let's sit in a different place where atmosphere
Hmm.
is different. That
Good
counts a
point.
lot.
Excellent
Interesting.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, yeah, that really counts a lot. And sometimes when you see a person is very broken and you need to help that person, I believe a spiritual place is a very good place to take that person. Because the time you enter the church, mosque, or any place where you go for worship, you feel the
Right.
spiritual feeling at the same moment. The time you enter it, the calmness automatically comes to you. The feeling of protection actually surrounds you. Then you sit there and make the person feel and talk to that person. And even if a person wants to cry, let them cry. It's no harm. It's no harm. Even if a child wants to cry, let the child cry, let the child be, let this thing come out. The emotions should come out.
It's a, like you
Because
said, you just said it. It's a God-given emotion that you could use it at appropriate times.
exactly. Because see, sometimes in a situation of happiness, tears comes from our eyes. We cannot control that. They just come out. Similarly, when we see something sad, even if I hear some news of any person's death or something, I don't know, even though I don't have a relation with that person, but I cry. Automatically tears comes out. It feels like my body is crying for the pain. And I feel very speechless to talk to that person for condolence and all. It feels like he's completely broken or she's completely broken. I just assume myself in that place. I don't know why, but I feel that. And stays in my mind for some times, because a person going from this world is not easy, the loss. And similarly, there are certain times of people, I believe the families, when they are broken, it's same with the children, especially those children who lost their parents. That's why I dedicated this week for the single parents, whether parents are divorced, whether the father has died, the mother has died, how much the child is suffering. No matter at what age, Brian, no matter at what, we always need our mother. We just need, the feeling that she is with us, or maybe she's watching us, her prayers are with us. Everyone is a child from inside. We assume, we show that we are very strong. Yes, we are. For our family, we are. But still, for our parents, we are children.
Yeah. There's no one, there's no one that's not supposed to be here, is what I believe. We all have a
Yes.
purpose. And a lot of us, unfortunately, have not found our focus. We're still searching. And that's where we need people that are mentors and teachers that help us. That's why we have free will. Otherwise, we wouldn't need teachers.
True.
Right.
Like some people say, well, God's in charge of everything. Well, he gave us free will. Well, if God wanted to brush my hair, is he going to brush it for me? No, I have to do
No,
it
true.
myself.
Yes.
But he wants me to look well and brush my hair maybe, or brush my teeth. But he's not going to do it for me. We have the free will to do it, yes or no. And that's why we have teachers and mentors to guide us to the right way. And that's our part, full circle, with our part in raising these children to be happy. Otherwise, they're going to be sad and frustrated. I could see it in my little 2, 3-year-old granddaughter. She's starting to show frustration now if she can't get something. So what I say to her is, what are you supposed to say when you get frustrated like that? And she stops and she says, Papa, will you help me? Yes, I will. And there we have it every time. And it works so good. I just see it and I just sit back and I just smile because I see her get mad when she can't open like a jar of peanut butter or something, and she gets mad and so, like, are you okay? Like, well, what are you supposed to say when you can't do that? Papa, will you help me? Yes. And then I help her and we're both happy. It
Yes.
works.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to bring up, that I learned from, let's see, what's his name? He wrote parent effectiveness training. He was, I think Rogers was his teacher as a psychologist or whatever. And he took some of his ideas and put them toward parenting and build. This was, I think, in the 70s, and he had a lot of followers. I think there still are followers of his. Anyway, one thing I learned from him, one of his books, was that, and he learned this from Rogers, who was a psychologist, that before somebody expresses anger, they have felt some other uncomfortable emotion, but they haven't addressed it. Either they've felt sadness or depression or
failure.
Yeah, or frustration, or their feelings were hurt, but they haven't addressed those things. And then anger, he said, comes after that if you don't address the original emotion and deal with it somehow.
The
And
last
the
resort.
anger,
It's a
yes,
last resort
yes.
reaction.
And
The
yes,
reaction,
exactly.
right?
It's a just like you said, right? It's a reaction, like the medicine that's not set, in alignment for you.
You didn't get
Well,
it right. You
I
didn't get what
wanted,
you wanted, so you went the other route.
yeah. So I wanted to explain to you what has happened in my life, because once I read this, and this was many years ago, yeah, many, I started experimenting with it. I started noticing when I'd feel anger and checking back, was there something else? And there always was. And then I started dealing with those things as they came up instead of letting myself go into the anger reaction. And eventually that became my habit. I don't go into anger. It just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I don't know how long it took before that shifted, but it's definitely shifted. If I'm having a negative reaction to something, I deal with it. It's just what I do.
But it's conscious to you that, like I was saying about
Not
myself.
anymore. Now it just happens. Now dealing with those first emotions is just automatic. It's just like,
So anger is not within your pathway anymore. It's not an
no,
option.
no, it's not like I wouldn't express it if it came up to express. It just doesn't appear. So I just wanted you guys to know that. That's all.
It's just, the old concept of the squeaky wheel gets the grease, type thing. Sometimes I see that in action. I was listening to my daughter on a phone call the other day to our cell phone service that overcharged us. And she knew I was listening, so I think she was overly concerned that she was nice, because she knows that that's how I would want her to be. So she was saying things like, so you made a mistake, but you're still going to have me pay extra because you made a mistake. And she was trying to get them to at least acknowledge what she was trying to say. But finally, she just gave in and she says, look, if this continues, I'm just going to go with another company. And she hung up. But about a minute after that, she got a reimbursement email. So they saw her point.
Oh,
Wow.
That's good.
And she said, Dad, I just got an email from him. Like right when I hung up, they gave me $20 back credit. Like, well, it worked. That was the one
Yeah.
rule in action. You just you said what you thought, and you were stern, and you didn't get mad, but you made a point that if this continues, you're not going to be a part of it. Work.
Yeah.
I would like to add something that sometimes when you want to come to an agreement with many people at the same time. So I believe there should be pre-talks first individually. Whoever wants to, show some concern or make the plan or convince others. So first of all, he should have a pre-talk, he or she individually with the members. This is my personal opinion, to know what the other person is actually thinking about it. And
Yes,
maybe,
that's
maybe somehow they can, like the person who wants to convince the message can reach to certain thing later and make work on it, that everyone he should please, like everyone can come, like for example, like you do a Venn diagram, that this person has sent this person has sent that, you make a chart. So in your mind you see the odd things, you take out, you keep the common ones, and making that, now you know how to talk and make, convince everyone that yes, at least they all agree on this part. Now this is the difficult task, I need to deal with this. So when
nice.
you start your discussions, you start with the positive way first. We all are here now, and we all agree to this thing. Every will be convinced. And then the problem is, the situation is that we all disagree with this point. For that, we all can have a discussion. So 50% the matter is resolved and 50% is left. So the person's listening might feel more motivation inside, that yes, already we are convinced somehow. We are convinced, we know that our talks will be listened. This is my belief. And if we start with the negative part, that this is the problem, and then show the positive, then I don't think so it would work that way much. Because from the
Yeah, I
beginning we
like
have to do
that.
motivation. We have to bring them, we have to bring them towards this discussion. We have to, for example, even when you look at these motivational speakers, their talks, then you try to advertise their sessions also, you see that. So half and 1.5 pages only to convince you that why you actually need it. You are in this problem, you are in this problem. A person tries to find himself or herself into that part. And then finally, 80-90% the person get convinced that we really need to talk. But when you come to the end part, that's the money part, then that's different. Whether your pocket allows or pocket not allow, at least you agreed with that person. So you know he's a good speaker. You know that he can help you out.
You want to
So
you want to emulate what they're trying to say. If that's what if you believe in their ways. It was Zig Ziglar who said, in order to get what you want in life, you must first help other people get what they want.
true, very true.
Mm.
That's very important, because when you talk, you should show that this discussion is for you all into it. Priority is not that I want my talk to be taken or my decision to be taken. It's you all. Like everyone's decision is very important, and I want to come to a conclusion where we all are happy. I'm okay with everything, but I want you all to get agree with certain point. That's why you have leaders in companies. Everyone cannot be a leader. You need leader. A leader is a person who actually motivates, takes the responsibility, something. So I believe, even in when you reach to rule one agreement and you need harmony, you should know how to, what words can you use. There are situations where words are totally different. There might not be every time the same phrase we are going to use. So there are situations we have to practice, like we should think about ourselves in time, when we meditate or when we are alone. There should be good, beautiful, motivational true words which convince the listener. And if we add some examples in it, that will benefit a lot. But examples should be known one. For example, if I'm telling my son about someone, he should know whom I'm telling about right now, because then only it will matter to him. And if the examples are from my family or nearby people, that will reflect more on his life, because practically he's meeting those people.
I understand.
Yeah,
So
it
rule
makes
one is a
sense.
very beautiful thing. Rule one, harmony, is a very beautiful thing. But for that, we need to practice also. We need trainings. We need to, polish our skills also. We need, for example, if I'm telling or representing one rule in Pakistan to anyone, anyone can call me at night, Batul, this is the problem going on now. How should I talk? So at least I should be ready to help that person.
Right. Yeah.
Every
That
area is
maybe we
different.
could maybe we could do that here.
Yes, yes.
That
I
maybe
wanted to tell this thing.
things could be brought up like we could come to this with something that we want to deal with and then do it,
Yes, yes,
practice it.
yes. We can practice on more good vocabulary, more words,
Right.
more motivational quotes.
Oh,
Maybe the folks who purchase your new book could be invited to join in on
Too.
these meetings.
Yes, yes,
Maybe that's
ah,
something you could,
nice idea.
that's some, and that could be an offering that they will have a team right here of mentors that will help them if they come to us with questions.
Interesting.
yes. And I think Miss Karen has already, Brian, mentioned that 3 days training will be there. I think so. It's written with the book. Last time you told me that there will be 3 days training, something, if a person purchase the
Yes,
book.
yes. There will be, oh, I hadn't thought of that in terms of what we're doing, Brian. But in terms of the, like what Batool's talking about, one of the bonuses is three, was it 3 or 4 training, 1 hour, like either a Zoom or on the phone,
Mhm.
A
like
podcasts
1
are
hour
also very popular.
session. Huh?
Podcasts are also very popular these days. I'm watching that there are many people on podcast,
On what?
or POD podcast, CASTS
Oh,
podcast.
podcast.
Yes,
Aha. Um, yeah, I
you can
haven't.
use those podcasts if you believe that. That's also very famous these days.
So how would that work? Because I've never
I
done.
I think so. You need to just download the app and then you need to do the audio recording. Just your choice if you want to have a video one or audio one. You can invite the persons and together the video recording is done. Then you upload it for free. It is there for 3 months, I believe, and then they remove it. And you have to do it with seasonal wise. Like you name your series, season one, season two, season three, like that. Something. Even I have not done, but I'm watching people doing these days. I'm curious to do that even.
So could people, like whoever purchases the book that wants to participate, can they join in the podcast?
Yes, I believe, but you can even put your own podcast daily if you want to do some recording without even doing a Zoom show or anything. Just record your audio in it, your feelings in it, your explanations of the chapter, and that can be uploaded also, and that can be attached to your book as well. That you have explained chapter one over here, they can get it download. Even in Facebook, also, I am watching that many people have uploaded podcasts now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and my youngest daughter wanted me to get involved in podcasting. She likes podcasting.
Maybe she can help then. She can
Maybe she
explain us
could.
better.
Yeah, I will talk to her, ask her my questions.
I know people that tune into podcasts while they're walking, on their treadmill or while they're jogging, and they're not necessarily involved in it, but they listen.
Yes, right.
Right.
Yes, this,
But
Yeah.
we can offer them something more. If they were to come to these meetings right here, that it would hopefully it would fit into their time frame. They could talk to us just like we're speaking right now, and we could answer questions with each other, and we could practice the one rule together with talking out things, and it might
yes.
lead into something else where it's actually live interaction.
Yeah,
Might be a good thing.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's good you brought this up, Batool. I
Because
think,
if we have to reach our message, we should use all the social media apps which we can
right,
to deliver
you're
our
right.
message.
I made a visit to a school once. I was going to be a speaker there to do an assembly, and I got there early. And what I noticed was the principal would go up on the stage, and the whole school was in the cafeteria before they were dispersed out to their classrooms, to their homerooms. And she did a thing on character education every morning. Every morning she had a lesson, and then the teachers were instructed to play on whatever the subject matter was that she talked about that morning throughout the day. So she gave a
Wow.
theme. There was a theme for the day that the principal instituted that day. And the day I was there was about conflict resolution. And that's what I was scheduled to talk about. Instead of physically fighting, we would resolve issues in another way. And so the principal took my theme, what I was there to talk about, and that was her subject for the day. So then the teachers were instructed to keep that as the theme of the day on their blackboards and as they talked. And they were observed too. The principal followed up and went in their classrooms to see that they were incorporating in their lessons, for example, how to resolve conflicts that day by staying on purpose with the theme. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not to fight physically or verbally. How can we resolve this conflict in a nice manner, in a way where we all get along? And that was the theme. And then tomorrow it might be something else or a different thing. But what that principal was calling it character education. And I was impressed by what that principal was doing, the school principal, every day by setting that foundation.
it's interesting that you've
And
brought this up once before. Um,
oh,
th-
very nice. Character education initiative. Very nice.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
character education initiative. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
from this is from what Leslie's involved in, the Universal Peace Federation. And it's just sitting right there. And so when you said it, it was like, yes, there it is.
It's part of what you're doing with this one rule that we're showing by the way we work it. You can't do the one rule unless you're aware of it. And what I said earlier before is that I was kind of doing it, but I was educated in other ways. I wasn't using the terminology that you're offering us now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I was kind of doing it just by being an educated mentor and an educator. but I didn't really have the techniques or the vocabulary that you're offering now to keep it at the tip of our tongues and our thoughts utilize it.
Right.
It was just trying to be a character education, like trying to be a good person. But now we have tools. You're offering us tools that we could utilize that have outcome.
Right.
Just like a mechanic uses tools to fix a car, we're fixing our relationships using the tools that you're offering us with the one rule. And I like it. I like it a lot. It works.
Yep.
You have to find your inner also,
Yeah.
like to, to be a good listener, to talk, all this, you have to find your inner also.
Yes, the inner harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell. Well, I think all of us have those aspects.
Well, it's being
But
courteous. We do it naturally right here. The three of us just talking. A whole hour went by already, and we
yeah,
all three of us were courteous of each other. We listened to each other, responded to what others had to say. No one was domineering. No one was talking distasteful or rude. You know, that's our character right there. And that's the world should be more like that. It's a shame. I think I mentioned this before as a teacher. We used to be encouraged to listen to our mentors and even people like the President of the United States and police officers and people like that. Today, something went wrong. Um, I wouldn't want my children to listen to our president the way he talks now and puts people down. And some people think it's funny and humorous, but he's calling people names. He's a bully. I'm not saying I'm going to vote for him or not vote for him. I'm just saying he's not really a role model of someone who's courteous. He calls other people names, and I could cite them: Sleepy Joe Biden and Lion Hillary, and it's not right. If we all talked and if we all acted that way, it wouldn't work, especially in the education business. If I were calling my little granddaughter, you little pee your pants kid, stuff like that, that's not good. I
I
talk like,
agree.
do you want to
but we can
try to use the potty today? Wouldn't that be nice? And then maybe offer a reward, be a big girl and use the potty. And then we could use pull-ups instead of diapers. And we encourage positive thoughts, not like little pissant kid and always peeing your pants. Who wants to be around someone like that? Some teachers
yeah,
are like that. Go observe at a daycare. That little bird just bad. That's a bad kid. Some teachers are like that. Who wants to be around that? Go
right.
It's a
observe a
funny thing,
school.
like,
Go walk into a daycare and ask to observe. And the teachers that aren't educated, don't know about the one rule or don't know about any other good rules, they're just nasty, mean. My daughter did a survey the other day at my little granddaughter, and one of the questions was, "What's your favorite song?" And she said, "Halloween song that I sing with Grandpa." What's your definition of love? My papa. All good answers like that, which just kind of melted me. Who's your best friend? Mommy. All good answers. And is mommy mean? Is grandpa mean? No. Nice. Good answers. And kids, they're not going to lie. If you ask them at daycares, Mrs. Whatever mean? Yes, she mean. She snatches things from us. She makes us sit in the corner. She spanks us, or she takes our lunch away from us, or you know what I mean? Kids are truthful, and that's who we're
Well,
talking about here. Raising happy kids, truthful kids.
right. Well, hopefully all this we're doing will start making more differences.
I would just like to add the way Brian has said, I agree with it. And we are talking because we all are having basically positive thoughts. And if we have people over with negative thoughts and rude markings and these types of things, so maybe we would become silent for a moment. That this actually happens. This is a nature that by positive negatives and then negative signs come, like it happens in math. So it's not that we want negativity, but sometimes positive people, I have noticed, become silent in front of negative people. It's not that they agree with them, it's that they try their best, and sometimes they just, what they can do is only pray that God change their thoughts.
They don't have the
We
right training. They're not surrounded by the same people. I know daycare directors. I know them. They're negative. They're and
I know.
their whole situation is negative, and that reflects on their teachers and reflects on their children. How many children don't want to go to daycare in the morning? I'll say this. I used to get reprimanded when I was a school teacher. The kids would run to my class. They got in trouble for running in the hallway. So the principal called me in. Why do kids run to your class? Like, they're not running from it, are they? They're running to it.
uh, it happens because that is something also which I have feel that when I try to convince people and they don't listen, I keep on doing, listening, and then
Well,
finally there's a time when I give up. Then I
one
just
thing
want to say,
one thing that I have kept in mind for a long time, and I think it's very useful. Um, where did I cut? This was a long time ago. Um, I think it was the the Buddha who said that he wants to connect with people where the veil is the thinnest. And I think because I think you've brought this up before, Batool,
yes,
that when people are uh, people have to want this, and where the veil is thinnest, they're starting to want this, or maybe even more. They're wanting it.
When the
And
teacher, when a
that's where
student,
we need to go. We need to
when
yes,
flow that way to those people, fill them up, and then the veil will be thinner on other people. You know,
true.
it'll happen if we put our strongest focus on the people that are closest to this and help them, then they, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
when a student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah, like that.
You know,
Yeah, like
that's what the
that.
Buddhist quote was. When a student
That's,
is ready,
oh, okay.
the
I didn't know.
teacher, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. The student has to want it, has to be ready to learn. And if we don't put that thought in their head, if they think everything's terrible and bad and they're depressed, we need to turn that around and show them it doesn't have to be that way.
Right. So when they're ready,
The
you
teacher
will
will appear.
appear.
Right. The teacher's
Right.
always there, but if they're not getting it, I can have all the Bibles on my shelf that I want, but if I don't read it and get anything from it, they're just collecting dust. They're not helping me.
true.
The only part of the Bible that can help you is the part you know about. Same thing with
True.
teachers. The only part can help them if they know to do the right things. That's why we have mentors and teachers.
So maybe next week we can start trying some of these ideas, Batool.
Yeah, I believe so. We should.
If
Uh,
we come with some topic or some situation we'd like to go over, and we could practice.
yes, I think so. If we start with the single parent, the problems faced by the single parent for one rule.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
All
I'll make
right.
note of that. So throughout this week, we'll think of that, the single parent and the one rule,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Sounds good.
what their struggles might be and how they might resolve them. I
And
like
maybe
that,
it.
we can invite also. Maybe we can invite also on the Facebook anywhere that whoever a single parent and wants to join, come on,
Um,
have
I can make an event. I haven't
yeah,
done that yet, but I think
yes,
I could do that. I know
yeah,
someone who could help me. So if I need help.
great.
Okay.
That will be lovely. That will be lovely. Have a
Okay.
blessed day, Miss Karen and Brian.
Thank
Lovely
you.
talking to you
You
guys.
too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay blessed and happy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. You too.